hateful, racist video. That was posted on a social media platform. This is not tolerated here. We are investigating. We are currently working with school district and currently working with the Scott County Attorney's Office and with our investigation. I'm not able to say too much about the investigations because it's early on. I have our detectives are out today, matter of fact, doing follow-ups on the investigation. That's all I'm able to say right now. And at this time, I think I'll turn it over to Dr. Terry Stallow of the school district.
Thank you, Chief, for your partnership and for everything that you've been doing. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Terry Stallow, and I'm the Superintendent of Prior Lake Savage Area Schools. This horrific, racist video continues to cause pain and hurt in all of us in our community, especially in our BIPOC students, staff, and families. Our hearts go out to the student victim and her family. We've been in contact with them and are trying to support them in any way that we can. Our focus right now is on our students, their safety, their emotional well-being, and doing all we can to support our staff as they continue to create an inclusive environment for learning and support as our top priority. This week we've spent time creating a safe space for students who need it to meet with counselors or other staff. And we've also pulled together student leaders who've had a time to process and a time to lend their voice to our next steps. I want to be clear that as with all reports we receive, the second we heard about the video, we took immediate action and began the investigation in partnership with the Savage PD. As you just heard, due to the data privacy, there's very little that we can share about that. Our promise to our community is that we will continue our focus and our commitment to equity and inclusion. We will continue to elevate student voice. We will continue to ensure that as we listen to them and to our staff and to our community stakeholders, we'll find the best ways to heal forward as we continue to create a learning environment where all feel safe, respected, and loved. At this time, I'd like to hand it over to Sam Oak. He's a newly hired Director of Equity and Inclusion in the Prior Lake Savage Area Schools. And his true commitment to community has come through very loudly in his few months here, as he's also a member of the Savage Ready Task Force.
Thank you, Dr. Stallow. My name is Sam Oak, and like Dr. Stallow said, I am new to the community. I work for the school district as the Director of Equity and Inclusion, and I'm also a part of the Ready Task Force, which stands for Race, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. I've only been here for 5 months, so still very, very new to the community. But part of the reason why I chose to come to the Prior Lake Savage area community is because I was aware of all the work that has been done around race, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Right away when I got to the school district, I was invited to join the Ready Task Force by the city of Savage, which I felt so honored and proud to be a part of. We've been meeting for the past couple months here already to tackle issues like these. We know that racism exists in our community. This is why the Ready Task Force was formed. And just like with race, equity, diversity, and inclusion, it's not work that can be done alone. It is a mistake to think that this is an issue for just the Prior Lake High School. It is a mistake to think that this is just an issue of the school district. This is an issue of our community, and our community needs to come together. Both the city of Prior Lake and Savage needs to come together. The work of equity is not work that can be done alone. We need to do this together because our students, our community, our parents, our people of color living in the city here deserve better. Thank you.
We can take any questions that you may have at this point.
In terms of the police
investigation, what charges could potentially be on the table? And does the location of where the video was shot play a role into this investigation? If it was filmed on tribal land, does that change?
It's still early on in the investigation, so really can't comment on what possible charges. Still early on in the investigation. In reference to the video, no, it doesn't play a part. Or where it doesn't play a part.
It's illegal in Minnesota to encourage someone to commit suicide. So is that something that's being considered?
We're looking at all aspects, wherever our investigation will take us.
How is the victim doing in this case? I guess this is a question for anybody who may have been in touch with them.
Our investigators have been in contact with the victim, and understandably so, she's very shook up over the incident.
And do you know when exactly this video was recorded, or a rough time frame?
No, I do not. All I know is that I was apprised of it late Monday night, right about 11:30 at night. So they're still investigating as to when and where the video was taken and sent.
Is there a warning for other students? Because Instagram, Snapchat, all these things, kids are going wild on this kind of stuff. It doesn't surprise a lot of people when they see this, but kids kind of go crazy on these things. Is there something somebody should say to other students right now about what is happening with social media?
I think Sam said it best when he said that, you know, it takes a whole community. It takes our parents to really watch what our students are, or what our kids are getting into, and what social media platforms they get on. Social media has surely changed. In my 42 years in law enforcement, it has greatly changed. So I would suggest that community members, our parents, even grandparents, make sure that our kids are on the social media platforms that they approve of, and keep track of that. Thank you.
About how long is this investigation supposed to take, you think?
I do not know. It's wherever it takes us. There's quite a few people we need to interview. We need to talk with parents, friends. So it's going to take a while.
Is it fair to say there could be, I know you can't comment on the potential charges, but there could be more than one person they could be charged with this? It sounds like there's another voice in the video. I mean, how widespread is this?
There could be, yes. I can't comment any further on that. Thank you.
And some community members have said that this is not the first time something like this, racist incident has happened in this community. Has other occurrences happened like this recently in this community?
We have taken reports of young teenagers getting on social media platforms, making friends with people they don't know, and it doesn't end up well. We've taken a lot of reports like that. So it wasn't too long ago, we partnered with the school district, I think maybe, well, too long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where we brought in social media experts to talk with parents and teachers and students about being on social media. I think we need to do that again. We'll partner again and bring those experts in to talk again about the dangers of being on these social media platforms that you and I may consider okay, but there's more frauds on the internet than we could shake a stick at. We're investigating more frauds, more incidents like this that I care to even mention. And we need to be very cautious, and we need the help of the community and the parents. Like I said, I know that Sam is working really closely with the students at the school, and hopefully get that message out that there's consequences for making bad choices.
Question for the superintendent specifically. This is not the only, I know, talking about one racist video, but there are multiple from these girls floating around on the internet. Were you made aware of any other videos prior to this? And what was that investigation?
Yeah, I've also got our high school principal here, Dr. Bezek, who would have more information about that. You know, the statement that before I have him talk, the statement that I'll reiterate is any report that we get, we take seriously, and investigate immediately and thoroughly and take appropriate action. I know there's probably not a lot that Dr. Bezek can share, but if there's anything to help answer that question, I'll hand it to him.
Your question was, have we had other incidents in the
Involving these students and
You know,
other racist videos being posted.
I can't say that, that these students per se, have we had students make poor choices and post things on the internet? Yes. And do we investigate those and deal with those? Yes, we do. I mean, obviously we have more work to do in making kids aware and having kids make good choices and realizing what the repercussions of their actions are. Obviously this one reaches to such a level because it's so, abhorrent, and it's just, the reaction of the students in the building is just they're disgusted by it. So, on one hand, it's good to see that reaction. It's good for them to see, it's a horrible thing. Hopefully this will open up some more conversations so we can continue to build on the work that we're doing and make kids aware that your actions have consequences. And, a lot of things aren't, there are a lot of smaller things too that build and are aggressions to kids that they're not even aware of. So that's a big part of our job at school, is making kids aware and, aware of their own biases and things that they might not even be aware they're doing. So we do that on a daily basis, investigate things and see, things that are brought forward. So I don't know if that,
What's the curriculum like at Prior Lake High School when it comes to educating students about racism and, this country's history?
We talk about with various courses. I don't have every course dialed in off the top of my head, but in 9th grade we do, in our health classes and health curriculum, we talk about, being a good person and using social media in a positive manner and all of that. And we have just instituted a BAR program, which is building assets and reducing risks with the 9th graders. And part of that is there's monthly student meetings where you talk about being a good citizen and being a good person and being successful at school and all of that. So we're trying to build on those conversations and trying to see where the holes are and things that we can do better to help kids be successful.
That sounds like it's about bullying. I'm talking about
Yep,
specifically.
I've got it. Our curriculum is actually the Minnesota Academic Standards. That's what we're responsible, and every other school district is responsible to teach students. So you'll see within academic standards, whether it's the social studies standards or some communication standards or some of our health standards, you'll see that there's places that deal with both interactions with one another, certainly the historical context of racism in our society and some of those kinds of things. And that begins with our earliest learners, our preschool programs, when we teach about respecting each other and friendship and kindness and sharing. And that goes through every curriculum level, whether we're reading books and stories and the lessons that are in there about how do we interact with people, how do we treat people with respect, how do we love others, how do we care for others. And then we get into some of the history of what happened, and certainly those social studies academics support some of the work that we're doing. I think what's also really important is we have the academic side of things, the academic side of our standards, and also, actually, I think it was 3 years ago when our community came together to take a look and reset our district's strategic plan. Our community came forward and said, hey, social emotional learning, making sure that kids feel safe, both the physical environment of their safety, but also around social emotional learning is really important. And as John talked about the BAR program, as we talk about morning meetings at our elementary schools and our advisory time in our middle schools, our GPS program, those are all opportunities for conversations and learnings about differences and diversity to emerge.
What authority does the district have to impose discipline if this video was taken, as it appears to have been, outside of school hours and not on school property?
Yeah, and as we've said, that's just part of the investigation that's ongoing.
What's the status of the students involved? Are they suspended, expelled? There have been a lot of rumors about
Again, as we said, one of the things that we just simply can't talk about, and I know people want to know that. I know those are the questions that we're hearing as much as anything. And I think one of the other things that I'd like to say to our community and to others is I understand the desire for consequences and what happened to the person. And that will come out. What I'm really concerned about, and what I hope collectively everyone in this room is concerned about, are the impact on our students and how we together continue to embrace and share and listen and elevate their voices so we hear what they need. And we work with them and families and our staff and our community members to create the absolute best environment that we can. Nobody wants a video like this surfaced in their community. And we certainly don't want here. And it's going to take all of us to continue that work.
And for those students of color who saw the video and they're uncomfortable, they don't want to come back to school, what would you tell them?
Yeah, and we are working with our Black Student Union and other student groups. And that's on us to continue to ensure them that this is a safe environment. It's a safe learning environment. And part of that is remaining open to dialogue. Part of that is making sure that we've got a lot of adult presence around them, making sure that we're listening to them so that they can trust and do feel safe with us.
A couple more questions for the police chief. Have any arrests been made at the protest today?
No, ma'am.
No. And have there been threats being directed towards the potential family members of some of the girls that were in this video? Obviously, this story has reached a national level, and we've received reports that threats might be being directed at people who are innocent parties in all of this.
Yes, ma'am, there has.
Okay. Do you know how many threats have been made? Are they being offered additional police protection?
We're investigating all threats.
I think we've probably shared as much information as we can at this point. We will, obviously, this is an ongoing investigation and story, and I'm sure there will be updates as this unfolds. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Who are all the people up front? I'd like to know who all the people are up front. Is that?
Sure. Along with the school district, we have several of their school board members. And then we also have several members of the Ready Task Force here with the City of Savage. Brad Larson is our city administrator. Janet Williams is the mayor of Savage. I think that covers the relationship with everyone. So, yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.